What's going on, people? Welcome to Man Knows Football. You are here with myself, Guni, and Younes. Thank you to everybody that did join me for the live stream yesterday. I had so much fun. And then we done a Q&A afterwards. Well, not Q&A. I just got the people in to get their opinion on yesterday's game. But I brought in Younes today. I did promise that I was going to do a proper match post-match. But because I was live streaming, it was quite hard to kind of keep focused on the game, Younes. So what I decided to do was go back and watch the game again, where I'm not distracted, and get a bit more of a better insight on the game. Because I was
Okay.
just too busy interacting with the chat. I was having the time of my life with the chat. I love interacting with them. So I did miss important parts of the game. But yeah, man. How are you feeling after yesterday's performance? Obviously, 3 points, but talk to me, Younes.
Yeah, I mean, 3 points are 3 points. That's the most important thing. And after hearing Thomas Tuchel yesterday, I mentioned this in my video today, unlike the review, because we didn't hear Tuchel immediately after the game. But he was saying that there are factors. He didn't expect Chelsea to play well. Even before the game, he didn't expect Chelsea to put in a good performance. He said there's been things like jet lag, change of temperature, being able to play in Abu Dhabi, coming back, 6.5 hour flight there and back, non-stop training, non-stop football. So I heard that and I thought, you know what? Yeah, they're human beings. So fair enough. Okay. But that means now that they're back and they're settled, they need to start upping it again because they can't put on a performance like that in the Champions League. At the same time, we're playing like a cup team, as we've already said. So hopefully we'll step up to the occasion. But 3 points are 3 points. We nicked it. I'm happy on that aspect. But yeah, we need to play better. That wasn't good enough.
No, absolutely. I mean, there were quite a few talking points in the game. We'll go through it just a little bit. First of all, Younes, how are you doing for time? I don't want to keep you too long, mate.
Yeah, no, I'm good for time.
Okay, cool. All right, then. So we'll just go through the game. Obviously, the main talking point before the ball was kicked was the lineup. I actually saw the lineups just as I switched on the TV, so I wasn't quite aware that we was playing a back four with 4 centre backs. I was looking at it thinking, we're playing a back five again. It is what it is. But then I realized we had the back four of Malang Sarr on that left back, who's been deputizing very well there, by the way. And I thought he picked up from where he left off yesterday. I thought he was decent. And then we had the centre back pairing, and then we had Andreas Christensen. So obviously the centre back pairing, Thiago Silva, Rudiger, and then we had Christensen as that right back. And to me, I was quite surprised because it's not a formation that Thomas Tuchel has gone before with those personnel. I mean, it's gone with the back four, but just with 4 centre backs at the back. And I think part of that was the reason as to why we suffered. Kante and Jorginho in that pivot. Kai Havertz, Hakim Ziyech, and Lukaku.
Pulisic and Lukaku.
Pulisic, yeah. Sorry, I missed that Pulisic. To be honest with you, Younes, especially in the first half, we got away with it. One chance in particular that I do remember is Olise flashing wide off the post. The signs were there. We were playing pretty poorly, forced to play passes backwards. We were not really stretching Crystal Palace, pulling their players out of positions. And this brings us back to the back four of being 4 centre backs. You get me? Our wide areas. Christensen's instinct is not to go and get in behind defenders and to really support the attack and create that extra option. So I felt that in terms of isolation at the front, that was partly the reason. Lukaku, the 7 touches he got in the game.
One of them was the kickoff.
Yeah, one of them being the kickoff.
Yeah.
But look, again, we're gonna discuss Lukaku, but I really just sort of want to look at it tactically before we get to Lukaku, because the trend is that quite a few of the content creators, I'm guilty of it. I've done it once myself, a couple of times myself out of frustration, but we target Lukaku. But I think now it's becoming a bit of the easy route to go down. But when you look at it tactically, Younes, does it help at the fact that we've got 2 centre backs playing in our left back and right back positions? We're losing the ball so frivolously in that midfield. Tactics are changing. Kai Havertz is not as close to Lukaku as he was in the Club World Cup final, leaving him isolated, leaving Kai isolated, leaving Ziyech isolated. But Ziyech has that bit about him where he can figure himself out of tight situations, and we've seen him do it a couple of times. But Pulisic, we know we can do that. He wasn't used in that position. But do we have to look at Tuchel for some of this?
Personally, I think, especially yesterday, Tuchel done what he had in front of in terms of what he had in front of him, in terms of what he had available to him. If Aspie is out, good comment. If Aspie is out, we ain't got a right back. Reece James is out. Aspie's out. There is no other right back in the first team. So Tuchel has to improvise. He improvised. Same goes for the left-hand side in a back four, which seems to be suiting us more recently rather than the back three. Malang Sarr's got to play there because Alonso can't as a back in a back four. So Tuchel's done what Tuchel can only do. And that's the reason why I look at it and I go, I'm not going to really point the finger at him. What I am going to say as well, in terms of moving forward, the way that we progress and the way that we move the ball, I thought in terms of the first 15, 20 minutes yesterday was a lot better than we thought at the Club World Cup in terms of the movement. But there's individual errors here. Yes. Even Kante was losing the ball. How many times? Passes getting intercepted. Poor passes being made. Havertz losing the ball sometimes. Pulisic losing the ball sometimes. Lukaku losing the ball sometimes. These all seem to be individual things. It's not necessarily, we're struggling to be able to exploit one part of the pitch. Because Ziyech was on that right-hand side doing a madness. Mm-hmm. Once again, consistency.
And being played in your natural position too.
Oh yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So this is why I'm not pointing the finger at Tuchel, not at the moment. I'll only point the finger, and this goes for all the managers, including the managers we had in the past. Any manager that seems to have any limitation based on availability, that has to be taken into consideration. If the manager has everyone available and he can't make it work, you point your finger at the manager. Right now, Tuchel, I think, is performing miracles.
Yeah, he is.
We're winning competitions out of the blue. We're nicking. As I said, I called it a South London robbery yesterday because it was. I looked at Crystal Palace in that second half, and they came into the game. They started to build that confidence. I thought they deserved something. Yeah, we nicked it. Yeah, we did. So in that aspect, fair play, and that's the most important thing. But I look at it more as individual mistakes that we're making rather than a tactical one.
No, 100%. I do agree with that as well. Before I forget to read out the super chat, big up Exeter 1985. Thank you very much for your donation. Guni, my friend, always remember I have your back when the Pooley Puff girls come looking for you. Hey, listen, this is one of the leaders of the Pooley Puff General Army, anti-Pooley Puff General Army. You get me? So big up yourself, Exeter 1985. Yeah, man, we got to get on this vibe. Let's go subscribe. I forgot to mention, we are on the road to 10K. You get me? We are far. Yeah, we're far off, but we're not that far off because you know why we're not that far off? Because you lot have got us up to 5K this fast. So I know we can do this quickly. Yeah, the support from you lot has been amazing so far. But let's get back into yesterday's game. I want to talk about Romelu Lukaku a little bit. The 7 touches he did get, the one being off the kickoff. Now, here's the thing. There's 2 sides to this story. The first one is it's partially true. Well, it is true partially, but Lukaku, they're saying he doesn't move enough or whatever. Well, in the actual fact, he does sometimes. It's just that the ball doesn't find him. So in that sense, yes, I get that, but that doesn't excuse having 7 touches in a professional game. Now, I understand him being a striker. He's supposed to be getting service and he's supposed to be occupying certain attacking positions, obviously to take the advantage of it. But if you're not getting the ball, perhaps you might want to drop deeper slightly to try and come and get the ball. Involve yourself in the game in other ways. You see what I mean? But he doesn't seem to want to do that. But Younes, again, is this fully down to Lukaku or is this bad scouting? Because in my personal opinion, from what I have seen of Chelsea and Lukaku in this team, Lukaku cannot handle possession football, bro. That's my honest opinion.
Well, it's clear as day then. It's clear as day. I agree with both points. Whether he doesn't fit, and I think we've now established that he doesn't fit, and at the same time, he's not helping himself.
Yeah.
You know? You look at yesterday, and I pointed this out in my video today. Look at Harry Kane. Did you see that Harry Kane performance against City?
It was a masterclass. It was ridiculous masterclass, mate. Yeah.
But do you see the way he was getting involved, man? He did not stop. The guy was a machine. And in terms of every single department, whether it was him in the box, the goals he scored,
Yep.
him being a threat in and around the box, and
Yep.
letting other teammates go off. His through balls, his passing, his distribution, him coming deep to get involved whenever, because Spurs were playing quite on the counter. We know the way Conte sets up, so he was coming deep and trying to drive with the ball forward along with his teammates. I mean, he done everything. That's what 100 million brings you. That is what 100 million should bring you. So yes, absolutely. Lukaku hasn't done any of that. And regardless of system, tactic, whatever, 7 touches, that's
inexcusable.
Shocking,
It's inexcusable, mate.
That is actually inexcusable.
And especially at the fact you're playing Crystal Palace. It's not Real Madrid, Barcelona, or even a Serie A team where they're just staunch defensively and they're just not letting anything get past.
Exactly. Whilst everyone else is having this normal amount of touches, all sorts. Everyone else is involved. Loftus-Cheek had more. But I also agree. It's bad scouting. And myself, I know you, loads of people were looking at this before the deal happened, going, yeah, you know what? I think we were so blinded by what he done at Inter.
Yeah.
Just in terms of goal. Like, not the way he was playing, not the system he was in, not the manager he was under, just, he's banging in goals, bring him to the club. And I think we all saw it maybe a little bit too narrow-minded, and we shouldn't have. And I think, personally, I put my hands up to that. I was completely wrong. So, bad scouting, 100%. He doesn't fit. He just does not fit in the way that Tuchel plays.
Yeah. Do you know the excitement about Lukaku when we signed him? It was just... Chelsea fans in general, listen, I'm going to speak. Yeah. I'm going to speak for myself here. I don't want to speak for everybody else, but I think when I look back on it, it's just we were so desperate for a number 9 who could just consistently put the ball in the back of the net.
Exactly.
That also contributed to the fact that we weren't really doing our homework and really saying what kind of football are Inter really playing. You see what I mean? To accommodate for Lukaku, because at Inter, this guy got 35 goal contributions last season. So that's what I'm saying. That's no small potatoes out here. So there's a player there, but it's the system. Does it work for him? But that can't be an excuse for too long, because you see with Harry Kane, for example,
exactly,
he's not the youngest striker. I think he's around the same age as Lukaku, isn't he? They're roughly about the same age, in and around that.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
right. It wasn't that long ago.
Kane, I think, a little older, I think, but yeah.
But what's this now? It wasn't that long ago that Mourinho came into that team. And then you could see Kane starting to develop his game a lot more. He became that well-rounded striker. Yeah. So to anybody that's telling me, Lukaku was too late for him, he's old, he's set in his ways. No, there's always space to improve as a professional. You never stop learning. Every single day is a school day. The day you stop learning is the day you make a mistake, and you shouldn't be there. And that's what Harry Kane has personified by showing us what he's been doing.
Don't forget, he's played under an attacking manager. He's played under a defensive manager.
Yes,
he's played under a counter-attacking manager. And under each one, he's banged.
Yeah, exactly.
Under Poch, banged. Under Mourinho, banged. Under Conte now, banging.
Yeah, with him, listen, if he doesn't have a good run of form, usually it's because he's come back from injury or he's been overplayed, something to do with his fitness. But when you look at the mentality as a professional, Harry Kane, in my opinion, he ticks the boxes. But this comment here, I think, is a good point. Going back to that game, Tuchel made a mistake playing Havertz and Pulisic in each other's positions. I have to agree with that, to be honest with you. I thought that was quite strange, having Havertz on the wing and then Pulisic central, because obviously Pulisic is better out wide, and he's more likely to beat his man. And Kai Havertz just being closer to Lukaku, which we saw towards the end of the second half when changes were made. You could see there was a difference in that attack. It opened up the game for us slightly a bit more. Obviously, Ziyech getting a goal, but that's just goes back to what we were saying in terms of tactically, do we always get it right? There's another comment here. Had you guys watched Miz's take on Lukaku? I haven't seen it yet, but big up Miz. That's somebody's channel who I do watch. The other side of the coin. Yeah, make sure you go and subscribe to Miz. We're all Chelsea out here, so I haven't spoken to the guy, but I'll support him. He's a Chelsea fan like myself, so definitely, if you're not subscribed, go and subscribe to that channel.
I can let him know. Don't worry.
I'll let him know. No, it's okay. No, but I'm just saying. I just seen his name. I thought, you know what? Let me big the man up. He's a Chelsea fan. He's one of us. He's a blue. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, we did get the 3 points in the end. That's what does matter. And just going back to the tactical changes in the second half, we did see Kovacic come on. We did see Ruben Loftus-Cheek come on, and immediately, as soon as Kovacic came on, he played that through ball for Lukaku, who was offside. But it just went to show, it was an example of the difference in mentality when these two players came on the field. The fact that, okay, we're actually just going to start attacking and actually trying to get back in behind of the defenders. And that's where we got our luck. But Kovacic, does there need to be a discussion of him being one of the first names on the team sheet now?
To be honest, yeah, I reckon. And weirdly enough, even a little conversation about N'Golo Kante, because he hasn't been up to his normal self recently. Which why, don't know. But yeah, Kovacic is definitely, I think, showing a lot, whilst there's been many players around him that have been very, up and down or lackluster. So yeah, Kovacic, he comes on, he makes a difference, he starts, he does something really good, and a lot more frequently than he used to, I reckon. So yeah, there should be a conversation about whether he needs to be picked consistently, I reckon.
It's interesting, especially considering their contracts are running out in 2023. I've had this conversation with Matisse already. Can't see Chelsea keeping both of them this summer. Either one's gonna go. I'll be surprised if both go. Although if we can adequately replace them, obviously one of the quote unquote replacements we're going to speak about in a bit. But if we can replace the both of them with quality, I wouldn't mind it. But that is my only condition, because if you do lose both of them, you lose a huge part of seniority in that midfield. And so many trophies in between them. That's experience that you don't really necessarily want to lose at the same time. But yeah, I'm seeing Siddharth Guni, read my comment. I will read your comment. I'll certainly read your comment. Lukaku would suit perfectly as a substitute against Liverpool in the final when Liverpool's energy start dipping. You see, the way that I think that would work with Lukaku is if we decide to just try and park the bus and just hit up on the counter and just give Lukaku space in front of him to just attack.
Even so, like at Inter Milan, do you see how lean and sharp he was?
Yeah.
Right? He's not that now. Let's have it right. He's just not. Even the way he reacts and turns is like a friend of mine said yesterday that you remember how a PS1 game used to buffer?
Yeah.
He's basically moving like that. And I was just like, God. Now, it's his reaction. I don't know what's happened. His pace overall, I don't know what's happened. But he's definitely not moving like he was at Inter. Whether it's diet, it might be. There's a whole thing about, how Antonio Conte does things with his teams. He bans ketchup. He bans all sorts of things when it comes to food. Maybe that plays a part. But yeah, his reaction overall is just plummeted as well. So even on the counter and being able to launch and go, even that worries me a bit now. So
it's concerning. It's a concerning situation. I mean, Lukaku could easily turn it around and start picking up some goals, a little bit of goal scoring run. But even still, like, is it gonna be enough though?
It's mad, isn't it? It's such a situation. It's not a situation any of us want to be in. Not him, not the club, not us. Like, no one. But it's happened, and it's just, it doesn't even look like there's a way out of this. Even for the club or Thomas Tuchel. I feel for Tuchel because he's always having to come out, even publicly, defend his player, and we know he's not done. We know he sees it in the same way that we can see it, but it's a rock and a hard place, especially when you have 100 million. You can't just let him sit on the bench. It's an investment. If he plays, he puts in performances like that, 7 touches. You get the press constantly onto him now, as well as everyone else, including us, because we're like, we want this to end.
Yeah.
It's a rock and a hard place, and there's just no good out. There's just no good coming out of it. So
no, there's not. I mean, here's one. Should we go after Harry Kane or Haaland next season? If we're talking realistically, neither are going to happen. Haaland's going to Real Madrid. That much, I think that's going to happen. I think that's nailed on.
Yeah, I reckon. And even Harry Kane, I was like, let's do a swap. But look,
Levy would not do it.
It's very, very, very unrealistic for Chelsea and Spurs to do business.
Yeah, Daniel Levy would not do it. I think even because, listen, any footballing brain would know that Spurs losing Kane would be a massive blow. Replacing him with Lukaku, there's still a lot to replace there. You see what I mean? I don't even think it'll
Now
be a
there
wise.
is.
I don't think it would be a wise swap, to be honest. We'd benefit
Not for
massively.
Spurs.
Yeah, we'd
Not for
benefit massively for it.
Spurs.
Because now you've got a player, you've got a striker who adapts to so many different kinds of systems. Sort of a similar
Yeah,
situation
Kane
to
would fit right.
Yeah, similar situation to Benzema. Someone who is tactically aware and understands their role. So you can play any kind of system, false nine, advanced forward, complete foot, whatever you want to do, bro. All them football manager terms there, blood. Whatever you want to do, you could do it with that kind of player. But obviously, yeah, yesterday's result, I'm just happy with the 3 points. I'm concerned going into the Lille game off the back of this form. I'm certainly concerned going into the Liverpool game, who, by the way, for many spells against Norwich yesterday, were not great. They weren't. They conceded a goal that was, well, fortunate. It was a massive deflection. But they're still not a team to be taken lightly. And something needs to happen. I'm seeing quite a few of our fans saying, we have to accept this season that we're a cup team. We turn up against the big guns and the one-off games. Unfortunately, I'm sort of leaning towards that. Well, the proof is in the pudding. Over the 38 games,
we ain't got a choice.
yeah, the proof is in the pudding. After the 38 games in the season, we're not even finished, and we've dropped out of the league pretty much so far. But I have to agree with that. Cups are our best opportunity, but we're gonna move away from that game, and we're gonna speak about some transfer rumors. There is
Hit me. I've heard this is interesting.
There is a particular account who has come back. Now, this person does divide opinion. Her name is ES Grimes. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to actually copy the link into the chat so people can see it. Because there's something weird with my computer. It does some weird inception thing where like I'll share this screen and I've got like a screen within a screen within a screen. And I'm just I just can't be bothered to deal with it. But the tweet's there in the chat. It's from ES Grimes. It is regarding Tchouameni and Chelsea. Well, obviously, Tchouameni's name's mentioned, and Declan Rice's name also has to be mentioned. But it does. Wait, Younes, do you see the tweet? Do you want me to send it to you on the phone?
No, I've got it here.
Got it. Okay, cool. So it says Tchouameni is the preferred option. The quality, Tchouameni is stronger. The price, English player is more expensive. The problem, Monaco raised Tchouameni's fee, approximately 80 to 100 million euros. Now, a lot of people are not going to know who ES Grimes is, but ES Grimes, I came to know who ES Grimes was through you. I was watching you one day and I got to know, but she is a very, very reliable journalist, in my opinion, who gets the news. Listen, I don't want Mr. Here We Go to try and take this as a shot, but from what I've seen with my own two eyes, she gets the news before he does, and she gets it right. Yeah. So
way in advance.
Yeah, that's it.
She'll talk about something that's going to happen in 5 months' time. It's mad.
Exactly. Before I carry on, let me just read out the super chat before I forget. Thank you again, Exeter 1985. I can't get past the fact that Lukaku, it looks like an effort issue. We know he has the ability, so the other option is effort. He doesn't act on the pitch like he wants to be involved. The body language is also, it does show it, but then
all off.
Again, body language can also be deceiving, so we never know.
True.
But going back to ES Grimes, very reliable, broke quite a bit of news. I think she even broke the Kai Havertz news first as well, didn't she?
Yeah. She done that. She was mentioning the whole Mbappe thing before it became a thing. There was a couple of transfers that she got accurate last January about the summer that went by.
Yeah.
Like she was way in advance, man. And yeah, I with her, I remember coming across her Twitter, getting a few links and whatnot, and I was constantly going through, and I'm like, oh my god, this is mad. And after it all happened, I went back and I found tweets from like months ago about it. Mm-hmm. She's super, super, super reliable. And also, just to put something into context, it's not her job.
No, it's not.
Like Fabrizio Romano, that's his job now. He's got enough sources and enough connections to be able to make it his income in terms of what he does with his what he does on all social media platforms, his Twitch now, YouTube, etc. She doesn't. She has her own job, and on the side She has good sources and good information, and she comes on Twitter and she tweets. That's it.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Well,
So yeah, she's fantastic.
I thought we'd go into this a little bit. So look, there's good news and bad news. So the good news is that the interest in Tchouameni is real. Like, and it's
Yes.
come from like to me a certified journalist that gets it right. The concern here is the fact that she's written problem. Monaco raised the Tchouameni fee. And she's already mentioned that the English players are more expensive, which prices us out of a move for Declan Rice for this summer.
Yeah. I mean, 80 to 100 million euros. Let's put that into context. Euros, not pounds. So if it's pounds, let's say 80 million euros would go down to about 70, 71, maybe million pounds. 100 would go to about, I'd say 85, 86 around it. It's a lot of money. It's still a lot of money. For Chelsea, though, it's affordable, I would say. But yes, to go after him and then you get Declan Rice, which is going to cost the same, maybe more, actually, 80, 90 million pounds, not euros, pounds.
Yep.
Then, yeah, it's a bit of a madness. But again, net spend. If players are leaving, we might compensate. So
it's true. And I mean, look, it's for me, it's a must. That signing there, Tchouameni, should be the first signing that we make. If it's not going to be him, it's got to be a left wing, it's got to be a left back or a right back. Those are the three positions I want to address first. But yeah, Chelsea needs to strike even at 80 million euros and 100 million euros. If you've seen Tchouameni, like I've mentioned so many times before, you will know that this kid has the potential to be an absolute elite talent. And this is a price that you still pay as a club. And we also have to remember that Real Madrid are also sniffing around, as are Liverpool as well, for the player. So we are not the only one that's interested. Hence why Monaco have raised the price for the competition. But definitely, I wanted to talk about this because we had the opportunity to get this guy for 25 million euros or 30 million euros or something last summer. The rumor is, and the reason why I say it's the rumor, because I haven't heard it from the horse's mouth, is that Cesc Fabregas wanted to keep him and develop him for another year and for him to come to Chelsea this summer. To me, I thought, in hindsight, it's a good idea, but business-wise, it's a catastrophe. Because when you look at the ability of this player, and it's just happened. Look, 25 million euros one season. Now he's gone to 80 to 100 million the next. That's the danger that you have. So now and now teams know that you're looking for a defensive midfielder of a certain quality. I.e., West Ham now know this. West Ham are looking at this Tchouameni situation and thinking, right, okay. So now that they've raised the price on him, we can raise our price on Declan Rice now. And if Chelsea are not willing to act, who do we get as a defensive midfielder now?
It's true. That's a situation you don't really want to be in. I mean, we've had this debate in terms of who would we rather between the two. But yeah, personally, I think Tchouameni needs to be that guy that gets bought. I think even in terms of his situation, it's unfortunate. It's not a case of, Chelsea just ignored everything. There was the whole thing of what Fabregas has said, what Tchouameni was recommended to do over on his side, not moving as soon as last season or last summer, but staying one more year at Monaco, which he's done. And now he's looking like a much more complete player, but the fee's gone up. So there are pros and cons on both ends of the spectrum. I do think it's just one of those things sometimes. Chelsea maybe, could have taken action early. That would have been nice. But it's all ifs and buts, and now it's like, okay, I reckon we have to get him. And Tchouameni needs to sign for Chelsea Football Club. Has to. I'm hoping that there's going to be enough concurrence in the Chelsea team to try and tempt him.
Yep.
So yeah, I guess we'll see. But Tchouameni, that deal needs to be made at least. Chelsea need to go in hard and try properly, not just inquire. All those words that we hear when Chelsea are linked with a transfer,
monitoring,
approaching, observing, targeting.
No, just do the business,
Interested,
man.
like,
Do
just
the
put the bid in.
business. Yeah,
Just put the
that's
bid
it. There's one comment I wanted to address. Although I've addressed it so many times, but I just don't want it to get toxic for no fucking
I
reason.
love how people automatically assume there's beef. And
That's what I mean,
yeah,
bro.
go on, explain.
That's what I mean. Listen. All right, so the question is, Guni, why aren't you on Barstool Sports with Troops? Did you guys start beefing? Okay, first of all, me and Troops were still friends. In fact, I messaged him yesterday.
Close friends.
That's what I mean. We were talking like yesterday or the day before. I don't know. I've been busy, but me and him, we still talk. That's my guy. You think when he comes back to New York, he's not gonna come and see me, or I'm not gonna go and check him? Come on, man. Like me and him were good friends. Even Zar, I'm good friends with him. Jetski, the whole gang at Barstool Sports. The reason why Guni is not on Barstool Sports is because it's my decision. Yeah, I wanted to come away from the platform and build my own platform. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't gonna try and do work for a platform that's already built. Yes, it was a great opportunity. I'm very appreciative of Troops for bringing me in and that. But you get me? You got to build your own and start your own foundations before you start going off somewhere else. And Troops himself taught me that as well. And so did Expressions and quite a few of them, even Younes as well. So the guys who were experienced, they advised me well. The most important thing that you can do is, and to anybody that's trying to grow up a YouTube channel, the most important thing that you can do is focus on what you're doing first. The rest will come later. You get me? So that's the situation with me and Troops. I love that brother. He just got married. I've given him all the blessings to his family and all that. He knows where my door is. He can come anytime. That's the relationship with me and Troops. We're guys like that. Don't listen to anyone that says Guni and Troops are beefing or Zan and this and that beefing. It's all nonsense. Guni ain't the type to be doing these beefs. Trust me, I don't do all that on camera. It's childish, bro. I'd rather deal with it off camera, talk to you, and even then, by the time we leave the room, there's no problem. That's how I deal with situations. But yeah, let's move on.
Remember, Troops does not own Barstool Sports.
No, it doesn't. As
much as he might want to, I think, but no, it doesn't. So yeah, everything is cool between them, and everything's lush.
Yeah, everything's normal. But yeah, so definitely do you know what? Let's go a little bit into the Lille game on Tuesday. This is the home game, so we will have our full team selection. And this brings me even more concern of our form because of the situation over in France where traveling players who are not vaccinated cannot play, they cannot participate. So it makes this game even more important, Younes.
Yeah, I mean, even with that point, we'll see what happens. Keeping tabs on French news and what's happening, there does seem to be a lot of backtracking.
Right.
And for two reasons. One is because there is an election coming up. So Macron is obviously trying to pamper to the crowd and, take everything back now. It's like here when we're seeing tons of U-turns by Boris and them, man. So I think with Macron, I at the moment there is a lot of taking away like vaccine passports, all of that. It's starting to come a lot down. So there could be, by the time we reach the away leg and Chelsea have to travel, that nothing will be needed. So fingers crossed that's going to be the case. But yeah, obviously we don't know that for certain. So this game against Lille at home, at least we got to try and take advantage and try and batter them 4 or 5-0. That way we get ourselves a little bit of breathing space.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. We can't take no chances. This is the one major competition outside of this. This was second on my list. Not that there's any preferential, but I wanted the Prem so bad because we ain't won it since 2017, and it's always good to be kings after a 38 game season. That for me is the biggest achievement. Then there's also the Champions League, the prestige of the competition and all that, and the fact that we've just won it, and the dream of doing it back to back. So I definitely want this competition to be taken seriously. Lille, they're not doing too bad. They've got a couple of dangerous players in there. One of them being Jonathan David, the bait name that most people are probably gonna know. In terms of defensively, though, I don't think we're gonna worry too much. I'm always optimistic with our defense. That's the least area of our team that I've got any worries about. It's just going forward and making opportunities count. What young players do Chelsea already have who can come up and step in the lineup immediately? I'm gonna let Younes answer that one.
What young players do Chelsea already have who can come up? I mean, obviously, there's the lads that are on loan. We know that. But in terms of the lads that are already at the club, personally, Harvey Vale,
Yep.
Lewis Hall, for sure. Those two, I reckon, are in the leading line.
Colwell.
Levi Colwell, obviously, he's on loan,
Mhm.
but he's smashing it over at Coventry. So, yeah, at the moment,
I think
lads.
Colwell's at Huddersfield. It's Matson that's at Coventry.
Matson's at Coventry.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
See, that's even another one. Like we've got you.
But Matson, you know what's weird with Matson? Matson was kind of being rumored as that guy to come up even back when Sarri was in charge. So like I feel like he's been eclipsed. People are jumping like ahead of the queue, and Matson is just still, he probably doesn't clock. Like I don't know, but he's definitely a name. For now, I reckon that's it. We don't want to try and bring in too many. We don't want to try and get the hopes up of too many youngsters and try and make it look like all 20 of you are going to make it. Like, no, that's not how it works. So the main ones for now, Broza, Gallagher, they will be in the first team next season, I hope. Gallagher is a certainty. Broza, I hope, is going to happen. And then after that, Vale, Hall as the guys that you can look at.
Mm-hmm.
Colwell, we'll see.
No, 100%. 100%. Good question here. Guni, are you ever going to do a Chelsea career mode on FIFA? I'm going to have to. I've got the PS5. You know what it is that I'm waiting for?
It's worth it.
It's the capture device. I'm just waiting for the capture device to arrive so I can just hook everything up together.
The Elgato, yeah?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. So my beautiful mug could be on the screen while I'm thrashing people at FIFA. You already know. But yeah, Younes, you know what? I thought I was going to keep you on for a bit longer, but to be honest with you, I feel like I've covered what I've really wanted to discuss, unless there's anything that's burning that you want to discuss.
No, all I want to say in terms of Lille is we have to respect them. They are the French champions. Let's have it right. Although we know they're not going to retain, I think a little bit of I don't want to say a fluke, but they managed to keep themselves above the water whilst PSG had a bit of struggle. This season, PSG will be champions, but Lille have done that. They're not rubbish, but I just hope we take advantage and we capitalize, and hopefully at home we can get ourselves a good result first. If we don't, then there could be a bit of a pickle. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen. But hopefully we have a good game.
How many likes have we got in the building? I can't even see on this StreamYard.
Smash the like button anyway, people.
Smash the like button. Let's get the likes up. Let's
get the algorithm going for Guni, man.
And we are on the road to 10K, so there is no more shyness. I'm going to be plugging that. Let's get to that 10K. I want that number. You get me? We need to just build this community. We've got something good going on here. Let's just expand it. Younes, do you have anything coming up later on today that you would like the people them to share, or have you released anything already that you'd like the people them to see?
Yes, I've done a video earlier, funny enough, about comparing Lukaku's performances or recent performance, obviously in Crystal Palace, and then you're looking at what Harry Kane done, and entertaining, even if it's the slightest possibility for Chelsea to try and pursue, put the morals aside and possibly contact Spurs for a possible swap with Harry Kane. But I did mention it's really unrealistic, but I just wanted to try and bring it to people as to that is what you expect in terms of a complete performance from a centre forward. So I gave a bit of analysis on that, as well as Thomas Tuchel's comments after the game. Tomorrow it's going to be Reddit Monday, so we'll see what people have been posting on the Reddit page. And then after that, it's looking to Lille and Champions League time. So let's hope we go on to retain.
No, that's it.
Because we're a cup team now.
Yeah, unfortunately, we are a cup team. Hopefully that can change next season. I mean, there's still a massive gap that we need to close. I mean, we've got the manager to do it. It's just whether the board will give him the personnel that he wants to achieve it. Do you know what I mean? Ganswood is asking, Younes and Guni, will you buy a top with the Gold Club World Cup Championship logo on? Already done it, mate. Yeah, just waiting for it to get to my door. It's already
You already done it?
Yep.
When you're in New York?
No time.
And I'm like next to the bridge and I ain't done it.
No wasted no time. Hey, listen, I've got no shame, Younes. I will go around on the full kit wanker mode fully. I go around in a Chelsea tracksuit, everything. Hey, listen, I am like a walking Chelsea ambassador of New York City with no shame whatsoever. I've even had the teenagers, yeah. Back when we played, when we used to play football over on the west side, Riverside Park. So to those that know, big up yourselves over in New York. The adults used to play first, and then the kids would come play afterwards. And they'll be like, "Oh yes, that geezer. That's the Chelsea guy from London, the Mr. Full Kit guy." I was like, "Yeah, man, we represent Chelsea properly out here. You know, you can call me the Full Kit W, fam.
You're
Trust
repping
me."
well over there. You're repping well. You're repping well.
Yeah, man, it's
Do
got
us
to be.
proud.
No, it's got to be known. Yeah, shameless. You've got the right guy here. I am the most shameless Chelsea fan you will ever see, bro. I will shout it from the top of the Empire State Building. I don't know. We've got to get this going somehow. We've got to push the Chelsea propaganda in New York massively. I'm gonna start trolling. I'm gonna run up on like the NBC and CBS lives and be like, Chelsea. Yeah, man. But yeah, man, listen, thank you very much for joining. Do you know what's crazy is that I had so much more time with you today, but I just feel like we've spoken what we need to speak and it feels good, organic, and I'm ready to wrap it up. Big up everybody in the chat. Thank you very much for joining in. Make sure you smash that like button before we leave. And if you are just going to be joining us later on after the live, we are on the road to 10K. So make sure you do hit that subscribe button. Trying to get 6K subs by this coming Friday. It can be done. So help us get there, man. But wherever you are, whatever you're doing, make sure you do stay safe. Switch on the notification bell for the shows coming up tomorrow and the rest of the week. Younes's details down there in the description. If you're not following already, made it easy for you. Clickable links, click them, go straight to Younes's page, hit follow. You get me? But yeah, man, I forgot to say, how dare I? Bald lives matter. Yeah. If you're follically challenged, it's okay, right? It's okay. There is life after dead hair follicles. Yeah. And I am living proof.
My dad is very happy you've created this movement.
Oh, your dad's bald as well. Hey,
yeah.
listen,
I'll probably get there one day. I'll probably get there.
Well, hey, listen,
it's in the genes.
Memberships are always open, man. Yeah, the Bald Lives Matter gang, we are always open. Hey, hair transplant, no. What kind of ambassador would I be if I got the hair transplant? I am the Mr. Bald Lives Matter, and you're telling me to get a hair transplant? Nah, man. The follicle shall stay deceased until I am deceased. Understand?
Can you imagine you rocking about with an Antonio Conte hairstyle?
Yeah, or dreadlocks or a Jerry curl or something ridiculous. Some 80s Jerry curl with the spritz.
They got the Jerry curls.
Yeah, man. All right, let's go for real now, man. All right, people, then, thank you very much for